Google just had their launch event where they announced all of their products for the next year. And they had quite a lot to talk about. They announced their new Pixel Buds Pro, their new Watch 2, and of course the star of the show, the Google Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro. So what has actually changed about these products, and is there a massive update from last year? Well, let's get into it and take a look at all the differences. So Google's launch event this year was quite a spectacular event. It had a few people there where they talked about all of their new products and lineups for the next year. It's only been a month or so since Apple's iPhone launch event where they launched the iPhone 15 lineup and the new Apple Watch. And Google are hoping to take an even bigger share from Apple than what they currently have. So it's quite a long presentation, but we're going to summarize each thing for you to get through it. So let's start off with the Pixel Buds. So with the Pixel Buds, they haven't really changed too much about it other than a few simple things. They've introduced new software which focuses on noise cancellation. So if you're outside on a phone call, then it will isolate your voice and get rid of all the background noise and shouting and dogs barking and wind and trains and buses and all that sort of thing. It'll get rid of that noise in the background. They did a demo of this where it showed somebody on the phone with the old Pixel Buds and with the new ones, and it did seem like it made quite a big difference. Now obviously that's their demo event, so it's going to sound brilliant. It needs some real world testing to see how good it actually is, but it does seem like they've changed that. But really it's just a software update over the last year's Buds where they have now introduced the noise cancellation for phone calls and as well up to 50% reduced latency. So when you're gaming, they focused on saying that it's going to help gamers and it's going to be really good for if you're on a mobile game or something like that where you'll have that significant reduction in latency. One other thing to notice that they've done is they have changed the colors to match their new color lineup for the new Pixel 8 Pro and Pixel phones. So for example, they've got a baby blue color and they have given you a color option for that with the Buds. So other than a slight bit of software changes, there's nothing that's really changed with the Buds. So let's now move on to the watch. So the Pixel Watch 2 has actually got quite a decent update to it this year. So they've kept the same sort of design, changed it ever so slightly, but they've kept it more or less the same. And the reason for this is because they said that last year's design choice was so successful and people really enjoyed it, so why bother changing it? If it's not broke, don't fix it. That was their attitude. They've not really changed the design, but it does still look really good. They've kept the same watch attachments for the straps. So if you've still got the straps from last year and you want to upgrade to the new watch, then your straps will still fit on the watch. It's got a quad-core CPU, which means it's faster at processing and can handle your apps and stuff a lot quicker. Improved battery life, so it can now run up to 24 hours on a single charge. I'm not sure whether that's just with the watch on or whether that's using it productively for like fitness and using it for apps and phone calls and actually putting it through real world testing. I don't know that, but it said it's up to 24 hours in a single charge. But if you charge it for just 30 minutes, then you can get 12 hours worth of charge. So that is quite good that they've got the fast charging element. It's got an upgraded heart sensor and an upgraded skin sensor for all the new fitness features. Now, bear in mind that this works with their Fitbit program. So everything to do with Fitbit, you can now get on the Google Pixel Watch, and they're improving all the sensors on this year's model so you can take advantage. The next sensor is a continuous electrodermal activity sensor. That took me about 4 takes to say, by the way. And what this does is it detects your stress, anxiety, and basically your mood and emotions, and then it will detect those things that's going on in your body, and then it will recommend things that you can do to change that. So for example, if it detects you've got an elevated stress level or elevated anxiety, then it will recommend some breathing techniques and some calming relaxation techniques that you can do to help reduce stress. Not really sure how practical this is, but if it works, that's a fantastic feature. The watch also has inbuilt AI, so you can use it in conjunction with the Pixel phone to do a lot of things for you, like answer phone calls for you and pre-screen people or auto reply to messages or give you a shopping list, based on what you want that shopping list for, that sort of thing. Okay, so that summarizes the Pixel Watch 2. Quite a good upgrade this year compared to the last one. Now, they are skyrocketing in sense of their products, and they are really trying to take off with their products. So this is quite a significant update over the Google Watch last year. So the Google Watch last year was still pretty good, but bear in mind this was their launch product. The Pixel 7, the Watch and the Buds were all new products. So they're enhancing on that, and they're developing that to make them better. So there's going to be quite a big curve in the sense of what they're packing into these products year on year. And this year is quite good. You get quite a lot to it. So now let's talk about the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro. Now there's quite a lot to get in here. AI is taking over the world, especially when it comes to Google's phones. But why? First off, we're going to start off with the design. We've got some new colours. Now, there is still these sort of washed out colours that is the sort of trend at the moment with Apple, Samsung, and now Google. They've got these sort of washed out colours. They're not bright, vibrant purple or red or blue, or they're sort of washed out pale blue and pearl, I think they call one of them. So stuff like that. So it's like it's not white. It's like an off-white. It's not blue. It's like a washed-out blue. So they've stuck to that trend with the colours, but they're still quite nice, subtle colours. And like I said earlier, they've linked that in with the earbuds. So the earbuds colours now match that of the phone. So you can have all of your accessories matching. The design has changed slightly, where you've got more rounded edges and a slightly thinner design, a much thinner bezels. And the camera bump is still the same on the back. They've still got that band that runs across the back of the phone with the camera sticking out of it. But they've improved the cameras as well. But before we get onto that, let's talk about the chip. They've got a brand new Tensor G3 chip, which is powering all of their AI, which they're introducing this year. And it's a much more powerful chip that can basically enhance the power and focus on all of that AI that they're driving into this phone. And that is basically what it's geared towards, is powering all of the new AI-based software that they're introducing onto the phone. Now, we get two different types of displays. On the Pixel 8, you get an Actua display. That's what they're calling it, an Actua display. And this is up to 42% brighter with up to 2000 nits of peak brightness, and it can go from 60 to 120 Hertz. And on the Pixel 8 Pro, you get an even brighter display called the Super Actua display. And this gives you up to 2400 nits of peak brightness and can go all the way down to 1 Hertz refresh rate, all the way up to 120 Hertz refresh rate. So I'm guessing the 1 Hertz will be if you're on like the always on display, or if you just want to turn it on to 1 Hertz just to save battery. It's got a new temperature sensor on the back where the cameras are, which you can essentially use to put up to a product, and it has several different things you can select from. Humans isn't one of them, so you can't select humans and then put it up to your head to test your own temperature, but I'm guessing that you could select something else from one of the other options and put it up to your forehead and see if it works. Maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. That'll have to be tested. But essentially, it's made for if you want to test how hot your cup of tea is, or how hot your cooking saucepan is, or if you're making a baby's bottle. You basically select what the fabric is or what the material is that you want to test the temperature of, and then you put it an inch or two away from that product, and then it will tell you what the temperature is. It's a nice little feature, but I'm not sure how much people will use it. To be honest, I think that is something that is quite practical, because parents, I think, will use that quite a lot when it comes to bottles, or if they want to test how hot a baby's food is. I think that's where it's going to come in key with that sort of temperature sensor. There's an upgraded Google speech system, which focuses on you can summarize web pages, and you can screen people's calls before they come in. So you can basically select when someone calls you, you can get your phone to pre-screen it and say, "Hi, what do you want?" And then they will like leave a small message. And if it's a scam call, then you can reject it. Before we move on to the main feature, which is going to be the game-changing AI, let's talk about the cameras. So the main camera is a 50 megapixel camera with up to 20% increase in low light performance. So that'll be better for taking night shots and night video. We also get a 48 megapixel ultra wide lens, which has about 100% increase in macro focus, apparently, and a 48 megapixel telephoto lens with a 10 times optical zoom. They've also introduced autofocus on the selfie camera, so you haven't got to keep trying to get yourself in focus. That's really good if you're just taking selfies or want to take selfie videos. Now this next part will go nicely into the main event, which is the AI on the phone. So this part is video boost. So when you take a video on your phone, it will collate all of the information to boost the subject's face, to boost the background, to basically make the image brighter, more contrasty, more vibrant, and more clear. And they showed in their demo a side-by-side comparison between the iPhone 15 Pro and the Google Pixel 8, and you could quite clearly see the Google Pixel 8 was brighter, more vibrant, more clear, and the iPhone 15 Pro was a little bit dark, a little bit washed out. Now, obviously, they're going to take the worst image from the iPhone 15 Pro and the best image from the Google Pixel 8. This needs real testing to see how good it is side by side. But if it is as good as they say it is, then imagine what that can do. It can basically make any video you take, and you can AI enhance it to make it much clearer. Now, you could do this anyway with video editing software, but this means you can do it on device, and you can make the image and make the footage much more clearer, much more vibrant and contrasty on your device with one touch of a button. That is going to be really good if it works as they say it works. So now let's talk about AI. And this is just mind-blowing that this is... what even is a photo anymore? Is it real? Is anything you look at real? We all know what's going on with AI right now, with ChatGPT writing students' essays at schools, and AI images of celebrities doing video ads of scams and stuff like that. We all know about what AI can do now. But this is just unbelievable. You can now take a picture on your phone, and the example they use is a group of people out on a hike, and there's a tent there, and they basically click on the image of the person with the tent who's over in the far corner, and you can now highlight that whole subject and drag them over into the center of the frame, so everybody's in the center of a frame. You can also cut out images with Magic Editor and just circle around them and remove them. Another thing you can do is if you've got a big group of people in a photo, like a big group photo, and you take burst shots of those people, you can now click on each individual's face, and you can select the correct photo or the best photo from the burst images. Say, for example, you have 10 people in a photo and you burst shot 10 photos of those people. You can guarantee one of them is going to be blinking, right? Or sneezing, or have a really weird look on their face during a burst shot of loads of photos. You can now click on the people that don't look right in the photo, and you can select the best image of them based on the burst photo. So if in one of those burst images they're smiling, you can select that and it will replace that over the photo you've taken. So now you have this image, this perfect image of everybody doing a perfect smile, which clearly the photo never happened, but that's what AI can do now. And that's what the direction that this is going in. Touching on AI, they've also got the audio magic eraser or magic editor, or whatever they call it, which essentially if you're recording somebody on audio, you can remove background noises the same as you can with your Google Pixel Buds. It will remove background noises, so you can do this in editing. So once you've recorded something, you can now edit it out, and if you've got a dog barking or a train in the background or a load of noise from the city or whatever, you can just remove all of that audio and isolate the person's voice. And that's something that can be done on device. And apparently the Pixel 8 Pro can run regenerative AI up to 150 times faster than the Pixel 7 Pro could. So that is the power of this new chip that they've got, and that's why it's powering all of this AI in the phone. Just one other thing to touch on with AI, they've now got an assistant with Bard, which is a new thing they've got, B-A-R-D, an assistant with Bard, which basically, essentially it works like ChatGPT on your phone. It's built into your phone, it's built into your device. You can use it with your notes, with your text messages, with your phone calls, with any device that supports this, any app that supports this. It can now use this AI system, and they've promised 7 years of OS updates. 7 years of OS updates. So if you want to buy your Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro outright and you want to keep it for 7 years, then you can, because it will support 7 years of updates, 7 years of features being updated on the phone, and everything that all the new devices are going to get. This device will also get it for that period of time. So that is really good. Overall, I think that Google are going in a good direction. They are battling with the likes of Samsung and Apple, who are the main sort of leaders in the smartphone race. iPhone is dominating most of North America, And in Europe, and especially here in the UK, it's kind of a split between iPhone and Android, but iPhone are slowly taking over. It's the age-old question, isn't it? Which is better, iPhone or Android? It's a bit like Marmite. You either love one or you hate the other. That's basically what it is. It's a very, very subjective field. But Google going in the right direction with their products, with their devices, with their phones, and they are really packing a lot into each new product launch each year. I think this is a very good update. It's a very significant update, and the fact that it's come a month after Apple's launch, I think is a big deal, because Apple have made quite a big update to the iPhone 15 in comparison to what they normally do. Would I say that Google have made bigger updates than Apple have? Yes. I would say that Google have made bigger updates to the Pixel 8 than Apple made to the iPhone 15 lineup over the 14 lineup. We focus so much on the fact that the iPhone 15 lineup had a really, really big set of upgrades, and it did, but that is in comparison to what they usually do. When you compare it against what Google have done, Google have smashed it. I think they've done really, really well, and I anticipate they'll probably do the same again next year. But I think they're going in a really good direction. They announced in their one of their press releases that they are slowly increasing their market share of phones in different continents. They're slowly overtaking more of the market. They're not quite there with Samsung and iPhone, but they are getting there slowly. So let's see how we go. But I think this is a really good update. And if you're considering getting the Pixel 8 Pro, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.